Aww.
He loves Steve. He thinks Steve and Kathy are his parents.
Wrong one.
Oh.
I love you. You're cute.
We're his second mom and dad.
Yes.
You are loved. You are very important.
He has 2 moms and a dad.
Yeah.
Aww.
That's right.
Cutie, yeah.
Yeah. So cute.
What's up, baby? Yeah. Tell me when you're ready. Good?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
So, real quick, with this same voice, and this was around the same time, I gave my girlfriend a call, the same girlfriend, and it's like something answered the phone, but it wasn't, they weren't home, obviously, so I thought it was a recorder, but when it answered, it was like a bunch of staticky radio, it was just a really crazy, and I sat there for like 2 minutes and listened, and was trying to figure out what it was, if there was someone talking, or it sounded like the radio, like different radio stations coming in and out really fast. And so I texted her and I said, "Are you home?" And she said, "No, we're at the game." So when she got home, she texted me back and said, "What the heck did you leave on my recording?" I'm like, "Oh, you got that on the recording?" And she said, "Yeah." And I said, "Record it on your phone and get over here." So if you listen to it, we kept playing it back. And in there was that same voice that when we were on the phone, and the exact words between all the little stuff was, "I'm watching you." That was exactly what it said. But since then, I have never felt that entity in my house. So I don't know what it is or where it came from or how it even happened. But in my house, I have never felt anything for me. Now, I've had people stay here when we're gone, and that's a different story. When people are here that don't live here, things happen. They see, 2 of my friends have seen entities, and my future daughter-in-law was here watching the house one time when we were all gone, and she was just sitting here watching TV, and she said her glass just like jumped off the table and fell. And she said she just got her stuff and left. She won't stay here anymore when we're not home. So things like that. When we're not home, it seems a lot more stuff, actually. Whatever it is doesn't like other people in the house.
Okay, now your husband mentioned that there was 3 actually hot spots on your property.
Mm-hmm.
What are those hot spots, and why are they hot spots?
Okay, there's the Native American rocks that we have here. Was Native Americans here. I even found an arrowhead. So those are hot spots. We've actually, I think last time you guys did the investigation, we heard drumming out there. And it's way out on the ranch. It's not near the house, that one. And then the barn. And from what we understand, there used to be, at the end of our ranch, there used to be a town called Danville. And supposedly, they mined all through here and stuff. And there's from the psychic that was here last time, she said it was a cowboy. And he doesn't necessarily, haunt the house, but more the property. And he does come in the house sometimes. And my son actually saw him. And he never said anything to us until she said cowboy, and he's like, "Oh, Mom." And he one night was asleep, and he said he didn't know if he was dreaming or if he was awake, but he woke up and he said he saw a cowboy at the end of his bed, and it actually started to crawl up the bed towards him. And until she said that, he had never told us that. And then the creek, she also said down at the creek, that there was a little girl that was murdered by one of the miners.
Wow.
The psychic did. That's what she got, a little girl down there. Now, I've been down to that creek. I live down there in the summer, and I've never had anything happen there. But that's what she saw when she was down there.
Do you know a person by the name of Dwayne Hines?
Mm-mm.
No? Okay, Dwayne says that a long time ago he used to live in Lincoln, and he now lives in Nevada, and he's one of my Facebook associates, I guess. Anyway, he realizes that we're coming over here to investigate. He says in this area there's a lot of UFO activity, and he also too says that he claims that I think it was back in 1987 or something, that he saw something that was similar to the Fresno night crawler. Have you ever experienced anything like that? No?
Steve, UFO wise, you would talk to him about that
Okay.
because
okay.
he has seen things in the sky,
Okay. Cool.
and I haven't. By the time I look, it's always gone. So we spend a lot of time outside at night in the hot tub, and he's always facing out where the sky is, and he has seen, but I've never seen a UFO here. But I know we're supposedly in the triangle.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, let's see. Is there anything else I might be missing that you want to add on?
No, we've
No?
just always had activity in the house, so
Okay.
be interesting to see what we find. But
Can
Sally
I add
does.
Can I add a couple of things?
Yes.
I know that more recently there's been a lot of activity in the back bedroom.
Mhm.
Isn't that the room that was Josh's room?
Yes.
So,
Yes. Where the cowboy was.
yeah, I've seen the cowboy.
Oh,
Yeah.
you saw the cowboy.
I've seen the cowboy too. Yeah, as a
Okay.
matter of fact, when the cowboy came to me, I got this really strange feeling, and then another being came, and the cowboy went, and the other being just told me, "You're going to be okay," and I was fine. And so the next morning, I was telling Kat about it, and I was kind of saying what he looked like, and so she took me to a photograph here,
My dad.
and the person that was basically protecting me from the cowboy was Kat's father.
Oh.
It was
Yeah.
my dad.
Yeah, he came and let me know that I was going to be okay.
Now this was his favorite place ever, the ranch.
Wow.
So
And that was your
and I
grandfather?
had
my
no-
dad,
Your dad?
my father.
And I had no idea what her dad looked like or anything,
Yeah.
you know, but whenever I was explaining,
And you actually saw the younger version of
yeah,
it.
the younger version of him. So, yeah.
Wow.
And there's also, anytime you guys go into the restroom, that bathroom, it doesn't do 3 though.
No.
It'll just do
Like tapping noises?
Yeah.
a tap
Okay.
noise, just one. And so whenever it happens, and it happens almost every single time I go into the bathroom. But I always ask, is there something that you want to tell me? But it doesn't ever do it again. But Kat heard it whenever one time she was, because I've been telling her, every time I go in the bathroom, there's this noise that happens. And so one time she was in the laundry room, which is right next to the bathroom, and it did it. And I'm like, did you hear that?
Yeah.
I did it to Steve, but he
You just did it to Steve today.
I know. It's just, it just
Did you hear that? Did you hear that? It tapped again.
Oh my
Yeah.
gosh.
So, but
Kathy.
nope, we just have had a lot of weird. One more weird story is I had these green slippers. They're bright green, and I always kept them next to the bed. And when I get out and I go make coffee, I put them on. Well, one morning I got up and they weren't there, and I'm like, where in the heck are my green slippers? And I literally looked. Those were my favorite. And I looked and looked and looked, and it must have been a month later. And in the meantime, this was when my kids were here, and I went in, you know, I had remade their beds, and I looked under beds, I looked everywhere, could not find them. And one morning, my son, who's refused to sleep in his room for a long time, he slept right here, he came in our bedroom, and Steve and I were just sitting there, and he walked in, and he said, "Mom, I found your green slippers." And I'm like, oh my gosh, where did you find them? They were in his bed that morning when he woke up. He said they were in my bed. That was the one thing that really creeped me out. Now, how do you explain that, honey? And Kyle's not the kind. It wasn't like he had any idea what could have happened or anything. He just happened to walk in, and they were in his bed with him that morning.
Wow.
Yeah.
So it went into
That was
your
a-
son's bed.
Yep.
Hmm.
This is a month later. Yeah. It had to be, How long did I look for those slippers? Like, I couldn't find them anywhere.
So the green slippers vanished. They reappeared
A month later,
a month later.
in my son's bed when he woke up in the morning.
Now, when did you first move into this ranch?
About 16 years ago.
Okay. And as soon as you moved in, did you notice there was activity?
Not at first.
Not at
No.
first. How long did it take before the activity started?
It was kind of a few years.
We moved in 98.
98?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, wow. Okay, one. Time flies. Yeah, it took it was quite a while we were here. Maybe things were happening and we didn't pay attention as much. But then they were just really blunt. You couldn't not pay attention. I'd just be sitting here one day all by myself, and I had pine cones up above the fireplace, and one just like flew off and hit the ground. It didn't just fall, just kind of. And I didn't even know what to do. I just kind of sat there and thought, wow, there's a ghost in the house right now. And you try to see it, but I didn't feel threatened. I wasn't scared.
The only time it was really threatening is that one person.
That one voice.
Yeah, and where she was choking and then she was surrounded by an orb.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, like I said, whatever it is does not like. My girlfriend's been scratched. I have pictures of her back. She was talking to me in the kitchen, and she was like, "Ow!" And that was the same one who the sunglasses flew across. And so she had scratches on her back when she.
Oh,
Yes.
this was one of your girlfriends?
Yep.
Okay.
It scratched her actually more than it does not like her. Huh. The one time she was here, she was in the bathroom with her daughter, and a can,
scared.
literally Steve watched it fly across the hallway. It flew there's a little cabinet thing there, and it was on there, and it flew all the way, and it hit my son's door and hit the ground, and she come flying out of the bathroom.
What was
And she
that?
went
What
home.
was it that flew across?
It was a can. It was like a little cute
Oh.
watering can,
Okay.
and it was sitting on the little shelf there in the hallway, and it flew all the way across the bathroom door and hit my son's bedroom door and hit the ground. And she came flying out, and he was standing right there, and he saw it go by. So things like, but other than that, we haven't really had any bad. You've never felt anything bad in here. Yeah.
Not bad.
No.
Like I said, the cowboy thingy made me a little nervous.
Yeah.
But her
He's not
dad,
supposed to be very nice, I guess.
her dad came so quickly before I had any. I didn't have any even.
He scared my son. The way he described it was like he actually was threatening, like climbed up onto the bed.
He
And
was
what is
coming.
this-
He
what
was
is this
starting to do
cowboy
the same
wearing?
thing to me too. That was the thing? Is he was starting to climb up on the bed, and
I
then
guess he
your
has like
dad
a cowboy hat on and just kind of like the old time cowboys. This was an old cowboy.
Were they black clothes or?
He didn't
He was
say.
dark.
Yeah.
And you can't really.
She
it's
saw
more of a
him.
shadowy.
It's a
I've never
silhouette.
seen him.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's more of a shadow. You can't
you
really make
want-
The
out.
only reason why you know it's a cowboy is because he got a cowboy hat on.
Yeah.
You one time woke up being held down. Scared you pretty good.
I think I'm ready for Steve.
Yeah.
You guys, you got anything to add on?
No.
No? Okay. Steve, you ready to take the hot seat?
Time for you, honey.
Oh, yeah. All right.
Before you strike it up
Good
here.
grief.
Now, Steve, you heard everything that Kathy and Sally were talking about.
Yep.
Is there anything you would like to add on yourself?
No.